Good morning, bom dia, boa tarde, tudo bem? Hope you're well. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and we're in Chris's garden, Mark's and Chris's garden, and I thought, being summertime, I would show you how things are progressing and growing. It's amazing how much grows here in the Algarve, especially with the sunshine. Now it's going to be extremely hot coming into next week. It's going to be up in the high 30s, which isn't good for the garden, but thankfully Chris has it covered with his irrigation and so on, so there's loads of stuff growing. So I'm just going to show you what we've grown and what he's grown, I should say. He gets pissed off when I say we, because I only come over and do a bit of weeding every once in a while. Anyway, here you go. There's just loads of tomatoes. Lots of different types of tomatoes. These big ones, I think they're called heritage tomatoes. And then we've got these ones here, which are amazing colours. They're beautiful. I can't wait to taste one of those. And then lettuces, etc. there. More tomatoes, fennel. There's the fennel bulbs we planted. I planted those at the beginning of the summer. They've come up really nicely. And fennel, I've discovered, is my new favourite thing. I absolutely love it. It really is delicious. And more lettuces, look there. More lettuces. And more tomatoes. Tomatoes, depending on where you are in the world. But it's such a great space for growing everything. It really is. And we've got peas, I think they're peas there, and kale, or I can't remember the name of that. And then, so that is, what are they called? The little lantern fruit thingies. They look like they're in a lantern. That's that fruit. And loads of chili plants everywhere, which self-seed, so they just go mad, all these chili plants. And then more tomatoes, and then we're coming into, and these have all self-seeded, so these have all just come up year after year, which is amazing. And then you've got, I planted these are watermelon. They're still a bit small, but they're getting there. Another one there. I can't wait to try those, to eat your own watermelon, or watermelon that's been planted by your own hands. Pretty amazing. And then these are pumpkins, or squashes. I think they're pumpkins, I'm not quite sure. Shut up and mind your own business. I'm videoing. I'm video evidence. Look at the big, huge tomatoes there. Here's a big, huge tomato just there. This is the polytunnel, Chris's polytunnel, which is boiling hot, and so he grows the cucumbers in here. Cool, blimey, it's a big one. And we are going to, at some stage, this is the back of his garden, and it all needs to be fertilized, so we're going to have to figure out a way to get fertilizer to here. I was thinking of the local horse the stables around the area, but for today we're going to clear this corner here of all the crap that's here, so that's what I'm going to do now.
She's only your best friend.
What?
Not.
What? Excuse my fans demand it of me.
Put me swearing at me. Look. See?
Right, okay.
On the ground. Yeah. I'm just gonna.
About a foot and a half. Alright.
Actually, can you get that and wrap that round it? You know,
Wrap it around it again,
wrap
where it
around-
is.
Round the post. so
Where
you
it
come
is.
Back to me, yeah.
Do you want a bit more tension?
That's alright. Guess what I've got? Ooh.
Did he go all the way up there, did he? Oh. What's not to love,
He said he
Ben?
was like a little bear.
Yeah. He reminds me of a vole. I always keep on thinking he's like a vole. What are you doing, Theo? The size of these watermelons. Hello, boa tarde, bom dia, boa noite, tudo bem? Hope you're well. It is a lovely morning. I know I always say that every single time, but it really is a lovely morning here in the Algarve. And I have, look, picked these from my own tomato trees, which are over here. I'm going to show you the garden. I've been showing you the other garden I'm working on with my friend Chris, but I'm going to show you my garden now, and it's beautiful. It's looking really well, apart from the grass. The grass is crap. The grass looks like rubbish. It really does. So does anybody know what I can do? I think if I get seeds and plant them in autumn or at the beginning of spring or whatever, I think they'll get much better. But now the grass just looks like crap, so I do apologise for the grass. But I can't wait to eat my tomatoes from my bush, my own bush. Now, here we go. So I'm going to show you the garden. Oh, and also, I'm a really huge YouTuber, obviously, and I love looking at YouTube videos, and I love looking at what you call it, Instagram videos, and I love the gardening ones. There are really some great gardeners on YouTube, which can be really, really helpful. But some of them, I know not to pay attention to. Like one particular garden told me not to cut my tomato plants down, so you'll get more fruit or more tomatoes on them. And I did that with some of my tomato plants, and they were crap. They gave very, very little tomatoes or fruit off them. So I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to just follow my own rules. So I've got a big, huge tomato plants which are growing just in front of me, and they've gone completely mental. They've gone feral, and they've got buckets of tomatoes, as you've just seen in my hand, and there's much more, so I'm delighted with that. But I'm going to show you the garden now. This is the patio. So sorry, I'll come out of the garden. So this is our sitting room, our dining room, and then we come out into the patio. And there's lots of pots and stuff here, lots of different plants, and ferns and things that like shade. So these get shaded fairly quickly, here in the heat of the Algarve. And there's my little, that was a pip just from an orange. That's becoming an orange tree. And this is that lovely plant that has lanterns. You know, there's lovely lanterns that a lot of Chinese and Oriental places have them on dessert, and they taste sort of kumquatty. They may be kumquats, but that's what that is. It's just from some pips. And there's where we sit. And then coming into the garden, so more pots, and this is the mad tomato plants. There's 3 tomato plants here in a row, and they've all blended into one, but there's just tons and tons of tomatoes on them, and they're all growing, and some are ready and some are on the way to getting ready. So really happy with that. And then I bought a pepper tree, so that's pepper plant, so that's coming along. And this was a pepper plant that was from last year, that was over there, and I repotted. I took it out and I potted it, repotted it. And the garden, as you can see, is just looking really bushy and big and exactly how I wanted it to be. And the bougainvillea is doing so beautifully. You know, it's really gorgeous. The unfortunate thing is in August I have to remove all of this because we're getting the house painted. So all of the plants that are against the wall I'm going to have to cut right back because we're going to paint all the walls along here, along the border. I'm going to paint them in a midnight blue and then put fairy lights amongst the bushes and stuff like that, and it looks amazing. I've seen it on YouTube, these amazing gardens that have, you know, the backing of blue walls, and they just look amazing. And I'm going to put a little tiny pond in somewhere, I don't know exactly where, but I'm going to put a little tiny pond with a bit of a fountain, little sort of fountainy, you know, one of those ones that solar fountains. And then that is the that's a vine that we replanted that was over there, and it was getting too much water, so I've replanted it here. And it's okay. I think it'll do much better next year. And then we have an orange tree here. That's an orange tree in a pot. And they grow really happily in pots. And yeah, so the garden is looking nice. And we've got more peppers, chilies there. There's chili plant that's been there for the last 3 years and keeps on growing. And look, finally, my bird of prey plant is starting to actually grow. It literally had 2 leaves on it for the past ages, but now it's starting to sprout. I'm delighted. And then, of course, Paul and Serge gave us our banana tree, which is growing really nicely, and the leaves are looking great. And it's got little offshoots growing. They're called pups, my friend told me. And of course the gorgeous, I can't remember the name of that tree. Let me know what it's called. I think it's a hyacinth something. I'll think of it in a minute. And then all of these plants were seeds. This is a seed that we grew, and that's an actual rose seed that I grew, and it's just that's fennel, which I don't want to bulb. I just want to take the fennel tips for fish and stuff, and it's just great. And we've got the dahlias are growing again here. There are dahlias there. They'll be beautiful plants. But yeah, so the garden is looking really good apart from the really crappy grass. No matter how much I water it, the grass just goes like that. So I'm going to have to deal with that in some way. And then you can see much more of tomato plants, of the same tomato plants, and they're growing all over the place. And I'm totally happy with that. You know, I'm happy that they're growing everywhere. I love tomatoes, thank God. So yeah, so that's the garden, our back garden. I'll show you the kitchen patio now as well. So this is the kitchen garden I'm going to show you now. I'm just growing, I'll show you what I'm growing. You can't see me, sorry. Just some cuttings and stuff I'm growing. So these are cuttings from Nighttime Jasmine, which is the most incredible smell. It's not a particularly good looking plant, but when you at nighttime sit beside it, the smell it's like Giorgio Beverly Hills. I don't know if anyone remembers that fragrance, but it smells exactly like that. It's amazing. And then we've got some bell peppers growing in here, seeds. They haven't come up yet. And then these are succulents, and apparently this is an Instagram thing, but apparently if you put them on soil like that and water them, sprinkle water on them, they regrow. So I'm seeing if that works. And then we've got not scallions, chives here, loads of chives, and then we've got some Baileys. What am I saying? The word will come to me in a minute, that's the age. And then we have got These, I can't remember what they are, but I know they were beautiful flowers, so I took a couple of cuttings and put them in soil. These are the only ones that are remaining, so hopefully they'll take. And then this, that's gone. Oh well. And then this one here is a mango plant. Now, I followed a YouTuber guy who's got millions of followers, and I followed exactly what he's told me to do. So I think there's little things happening there. If somebody can tell me, I'm not sure. And then the rest of the garden, all the herbs, just lots of different herbs. Oregano's doing really well. We've got chilies here, and lots of different, and parsley that I'm letting go to seed, and our lemon tree. But yeah, so this is the garden. This is where we sort of eat. We bought a new umbrella-y thing, and then this is going really well again, which we're delighted with. It's starting to have some flowers, some buds coming through in the camellia, or clematis, camellia, well, one or the other. And then we've got these plants here, 3 of them, which are chilies. So we're growing chilies there. I love chilies. I love really hot food. And then you've got sage and more fennel, and these are the lanterny plants, and yeah, and then it goes on up there. So there is the kitchen garden, and this is once again all going to be painted. So I want this again to be made like really dark blue, and then the rest of the house is going to be white, and these parts here are going to be green like the shutters. So the word I was trying to look for with that plant, I was calling it Bailey's, is basil or basil. That's what that was, basil or basil. Sidewalk or path, lift or escalator, depending on where you're from, tomato or tomato.